Miami at Texas A&M is set as a first-round playoff game. This game kicks off Saturday, December 20th. That's the good news. The bad news is 11 a.m. local kick. I understand the broadcast parameters, like those are kind of fixed times, so you don't have much control over that because clearly, like, you're going to select the best two games if you're ESPN, and then you have sublicensed the other games to TNT. They get third and fourth pick, but they do get the primetime spots. It is what it is. A&M a 5.5-point favorite at FanDuel right now. Interested to see if that number moves any. So, both teams will struggle to run the ball in this game. That is my strong suspicion. Now, if A&M can run the ball, they'll win the game. If they can't, or if it's limited, and it stands to be because Miami brings a top 10 run defense into Kyle Field, then it once again falls on the shoulders of Marcel Reed. And kind of like we talked about with Ty Simpson, but more so with Marcel Reed, it's just going to be a high-risk, high-reward sort of an approach. That's kind of how I would see this game playing out. Marcel Reed could give you a performance that makes me look and say, had I gotten more of that down the stretch, my Heisman ticket would have cashed. That could happen. Or Miami could get outgained by 30 yards but be +3 in turnovers and walk out of there having stolen a win. That could be one of two ways that this goes. But what I love is, as far as their playoff hopes go, Texas A&M is in a shockingly similar position as Ohio State was last year. To lesser attention, because Ohio State lost against Michigan as a 3-touchdown favorite, whereas A&M lost to Texas, and that was expected to be a close game. And also that game happened on a Friday of a rivalry week. So it happened, and then it was kind of out of people's main focus of attention. But it happened. So in that building, that's all that's mattered. And they lost that game, and they knew they were still going to host a playoff game. You will have had 3 weeks of rest by the time this game kicks off. They're going to put pressure on Carson Beck. Miami has not been a very good road team. Now, these last few weeks notwithstanding, like Mario could listen to this show and hit us up right now and say, did you see the Pitt game? Yes, that's why I said last few weeks notwithstanding. Because I also saw the SMU game. So we do have to remember the entire sample size here. And they're going to go into, by far, the most hostile environment they will have played in all year. Some of those kids have never played in an environment like this. And they will face... Quick 5-second timeout. Check and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It keeps it free. We love you. All right, back to the show. Jesse, I think the best pass rush that they will have seen all year. So that's Carson Beck under pressure. And that is, that's a situation where he's had his ups and downs this year. But think about that, not only from Miami's hopes of winning the game, but from an NFL perspective. I mean, if you're a scout and you're kind of wondering, what do I make of Carson Beck? Buddy, just tune into this game. But yards per carry, I think, will be huge here. I don't want to make it padlock stat time right now because we've got 12 days or so until this game. But it's going to be, at yards per carry stat, that's going to be pretty glaring. But again, we just talked about the Oklahoma-Alabama game. Think about this game. Just picture it for a second. Kyle Field, early kickoff, but Kyle Field hosting a playoff game. It's all I've ever wanted for Billy Lucci. It's all I've ever wanted. There's a rumor floating around, by the way, that Lucci invited me to his wedding. Like, where did that come from? On what Texas message board was that born? I don't know. Now, there was a wedding that involved one of the two of us, and one of the two of us was invited, but I think they got the story a little backwards. It pays to scour the internet. You know what else pays? PateStateMaterial.com, because that's where you can go and grab yourself a "'Tis the Season to Be Chuggy" sweater. I saw so many of these floating around the lobby the other night. I have dropped the ball on our own merchandise because I haven't gotten Alex to ship me any of our "'Tis the Season" merch, our Christmas merch. You guys have bought it by the truckload, though. So a lot of you showed up to the live show the other night. Many of you who walked up at the meet and greet afterwards, you heard me look at your shirt and say, "Oh, wow, that's the first time I've seen this." It's because it's the first time that I've seen it. I don't peruse the warehouse nearly as frequently as I should, and that's on me. And I don't make sure that I'm stocked up with our stuff nearly as much as I should, and that's on me. But your Christmas shopping is on you. And in order to check that list off as expeditiously as possible, PateStateMaterial.com is here to help. This week was incredible for us. It started Thursday. We went up to New York City. We did get up on Look, when Mike Greenberg hits you up and says, I need you in New York. I need you in studio. We got to talk multiple segments of college football. You look at your phone and you go, oh, is he serious? Wow. Good for Greeny. And you go up there. And we did that Thursday. And then you come home and you do your live show in Nashville that Thursday night, slightly pre-recorded on Thursday. We went down to Atlanta on Friday, and we sold out the Buckhead Theater there in Atlanta. Look at you guys. This was an incredible moment. We did not broadcast this live because that's the value of attending a ticketed event. Kublik joined us, even though we had complications getting in the building. Will Compton, Taylor Lewan joined us there. We had a bunch of friends of the program show up. Alyssa Lang stopped by. Chris Doring stopped by. We had Peter Burns join us on stage. We had exclusive merch that's only available at our live event. And I don't know whatever my expectations were for that merchandise, but you guys blew that away. Everything about the show was better than best case scenario. We intentionally went into that show having no format. I didn't even take a piece of paper on stage with me. We had no idea how we wanted it to go. So I literally told our production team, turn the mics on, that's it. Open the doors and turn the mics on. So we learned a few lessons, obviously. But that was so fun, and it was the first time that we've ever had an event where in very, very large numbers, our audience comes together. And about 1,000 of you were there. That's as many as we could fit in there. So you guys can attest to this. But for the many, many more of you who weren't there and who will hopefully be able to attend the several of these we do in the future, yes, that's happening. The vibe was pretty incredible. You never know what to expect. You know, when you've built an audience like ours, but you haven't had those kind of events, you don't know what it's like when everyone gets together. I don't know how to describe it. It felt like a family reunion, just a great big family reunion. It's unbelievable. So I've always known the attachment. I've always known how loyal you guys are to the show, and me in turn to you. Like I've always known that. But it was really nice to see it validated, I guess, with a real tangible example. So that was, man, it was a load of fun. We're going to do several more of those. You know, so anyone who had FOMO, if you had fear of missing out on that one, we'll do that several more times. We had some very, very high-level meetings on Friday with a bunch of very important people who were very interested in taking those concepts and duplicating them several times over. And that includes the next day when myself, along with Harry Douglas, along with Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, were just handed microphones by ESPN and thrown on national television to call the SEC championship game. This right here is some of the most fun I've ever had. Kirby Smart, right before the SEC championship game, walks up and says, guys, you got to make sure you enjoy this. Well, we did. We did. It was bumpy out of the gate, you know, because none of us have done that before. But eventually, you know, Tebow comes up, very inquisitive, happy to assist him, any kind of advice he needed. This was so much fun. We got great traction on this. This is a concept that I highly expect we'll be able to explore again. Big time thanks to Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is why we were able to do this. That is Pat's package. That recording artist, Pat McAfee, mind you, that is his package. That is his property, and he was able to put us on it. And then thanks to ESPN for trusting us enough to be able to execute it. Man, that was real fun. I've never done play-by-play before. Like, I've never done broadcast and color before. So that was a really, really fun pool to just dip the toe in. But again, I want to circle back to the same thing I said about the live show. We cannot do any of it without what this audience has done, without what the Bussin' audience has done for those guys. And there's very, very heavy overlap there, and we understand that, and we really, really appreciate that. And you guys have given us so many opportunities, and I promise you, again, you can tell I'm sort of bursting at the seams to be able to say more, but I can't right now. We're going to have many, many more opportunities because of that. And then I have to always follow that up with promising you that doesn't mean anything about the show. We are never going to screw the show up. The show is going nowhere other than where it is right now, the same way it is right now. Anything we get because of the success of the show will be in addition to. It will be an ornament on the tree. The show's the tree. So, Pate State forever.